Alright, hello and welcome everybody. I'm your SimCFI, means I'm your flight instructor for any simulated purposes. Questions on Microsoft, P3D, DCS, please leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to answer it best I can. In saying that, most of real RJ pilot fly the CRJ 900 series. If you have questions on the CRJ or how to get started in your private pilot license, leave a comment down below as well, as I used to be an instructor for PPLs and CPLs and more. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you like this kind of content. And today we'll be looking at the updated takeoff procedure for the CRJ 900 in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. There's only one major difference that's different between the two takeoff procedure videos I do have, and that's the lateral portion of this takeoff procedure. So why don't we jump into the takeoff procedure chart, which is provided by Aerosoft, and then we'll jump into the airplane. Alright, so let's take a look at this chart. This chart is from the Aerosoft manual. You can get it access to as well, either online or in the files. And this is basically what we do in real life. There's a couple changes here and there, but basically what we do. So the only thing we're going to be changing from the previous to the new version is this part right here where it says call lateral mode. And we can choose between heading or nav mode. So depending on the departure you're doing, if it's an RNAV SID, you can select nav mode. And if it's a runway heading non-RNAV SID, or no SID at all, then you'll be using heading mode in the most simple terms. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do the full takeoff, and I'm going to pause at most sections. So I'll pause from gear up, and then I'll pause as we go through each step. Sorry about my phone there. But the difference between the old version and the new version is in the old version, if you needed nav mode at this point, in real life, below 400 feet AGL, the CRJ, when you click nav, it will go heading first, and FMS 1 or 2 will be armed. Passing 400 feet, nav will capture, and you'll see heading get kicked away, and FMS will turn green. Now, once FMS has turned green, that means you're in nav mode, LNAV mode, whatever you like to call it. The airplane will laterally follow the navigation from the FMS. So if it doesn't say FMS 1 or FMS 2 on your top of your PFD, it's where we always confirm it, not just because you click the button on Autopilot panel, it has to say it in the FMA, the flight mode annunciator, at the top of the PFD, and I'll show you where that is. So if it doesn't say FMS 1 or 2, you're not in LNAV or NAV mode. That's where a lot of confusion, I think, happens with this airplane. So we'll go and spawn into the airplane. I'll get it set up for the departure, and I'll show you the chart, and we'll go from there. Okay, so now you have an idea of what the chart is on the takeoff procedure. Let's go ahead and review the SID. Today we're on runway 23 at Toronto Pearson on the Dead Key 5 departure with the OALBA transition. So this guy right here. You can see at the top right of the SID it says RNAV SID. So we know now that we can use the nav mode off the FMS feature. We can fly it in heading, but you don't need to. It's a lot easier just to fly it with nav mode. So down here we'll talk about what it is. It's heading 237, 1100 feet, which is above sea level. Then a right-hand turn, 245, expect vectors to savor on course. Then via depicted route, and we're cleared up to 5,000 feet. We have a climb gradient that we have to meet. We don't actually for 2-3, so this doesn't apply to us. And the only restriction is if we're flight plan to cross Santa, then we have to cross at 25 and above on our route of flight today. So that's basically the departure. Straight ahead, 1100 feet, right turn 245, expect vectors up to 5,000. And let's go ahead and set the CRJ up quickly. I just spawned on the runway, so we'll just kind of set up for a very quick takeoff procedure here. So I'll go ahead and turn the manual crossflow, or the auto crossflow to manual. Strobe light can go on, logo can go off, landing light can go on. Seatbelts can both, and no smoking can both go on. Looking at this, that's all good, so I'll go ahead and box the messages there. We'll go ahead and press our takeoff button, our toga button. There's only a line through it because of our flaps currently, but this is the toga button on the throttle right here. Now I should mention the tutorial is not getting it ready for a takeoff. That's a separate video. This is just the procedure, so I'm just quickly doing it if you guys want to follow along. We'll say our HCP is set up as well, even though I didn't do it. Alright, so runway heading is 237. Up to 5,000 feet. Our level off or acceleration height is 1570. So an acceleration height, when we use it in the CRJ, when we initially take off, we go gear up, we go speed mode, heading or nav. But when we click speed mode, we're trying to we're on the initial takeoff, we're pitching up enough to be V2 in the climb, plus 10 to plus 20 in that zone. Once we pass our level off height, which is usually 1,000 feet above ground, so in this case 1,570 feet, because we're already at 570 feet. So once we pass our acceleration height, we're going to pitch the nose down, or we can spin the knob for speed mode, and it's going to nose down, the autopilot will nose down for you. And we're going to accelerate to our VT speed, which is going to be our climb speed, initially at least. It's kind of a best rate. So we'll go here, performance. I'm just going to set up these speeds, whatever it likes. So we have our V speeds now. So V2 is 149. So on the initial takeoff, we're going to be doing gear up, speed mode. We're going to be pitching up and maintaining 149 to 169, anywhere in that zone. Once we pass 1570, which I'll set right now, we're going to be aiming for, in this case, 196 to plus 10, 1570. So 5,000 feet, 1570, takeoff, flying from the right. So we'll get our arrow to the right side. And this takeoff, this is the lateral component, and then the vertical component. So we have a lateral component, which is just runway heading, and a vertical component, which is it's going to pitch up, usually to maintain, it's going to try to maintain you V2 plus 10 to 20, around 15 to 18 degrees. It does depend on the day, but usually 15 to 18 degrees nose up, somewhere around there. So flight plan wise, I'll just do very quick Toronto to Toronto, CYYZ, copy it over here. Departure arrival, we're doing runway 23 on the dead key 5. The OALBA transition, we'll execute that. If I go to the legs page, you'll see it says runway 23, heading up 237, 1,100 feet, right turn 245. That's why we're allowed to use nav mode, because it has it all in its brain. It knows what to do. Take note now that our course is 237, which is correct, and the head and the course needle actually aligns with our course number now, which didn't before. So, in the old version, if you took off and went gear up, speed mode, nav mode, below 400 feet above ground level, before 400 feet AGL, which is just going to be this green number here, this is radar altimeter, the airplane would stay in takeoff. At the top, speed would be, they would say climb 160, whatever there, but your lateral portion would not change. That has been corrected in the new version. In the new version, it does what the real airplane does. So if you're below 400 feet, and you click nav, it's going to go heading, and then in this case, because of the flight director to the right, it'll say FMS2 armed. It'll have FMS in 2 in white in this section. Once you climb above 400 feet, the FMS should auto capture and replace heading, and it'll come from this side to this side, and it'll become green. So I'll try to show you that today. So takeoff procedure will be V1 rotate. We'll grab the gear. We're going to go in speed mode or climb mode. We're going to go to heading mode. Sorry, nav mode. I already messed up. And if we're below 400 feet, we'll say heading FMS2 armed. If we're above 400 feet, most likely the FMS2 will just capture right away. Passing 600 feet, you're going to engage the autopilot. If you want to, you can hand fly if you want. Passing 1,570 feet, which is our acceleration height. If we're hand flying, we're going to nose the airplane down, and we're going to accelerate to this VT speed, and I'll use the sync button, which I have a previous video on, so go watch my video on the sync button. I'll be using it today. It basically syncs the flight director where I am, speed-wise. So once we're about the level off, but once we're about the acceleration height of 1570, we're going to accelerate to VT speed. We're going to retract our flaps on the schedule, set our climb thrust, and then the after takeoff checklist. And that's all in that Aerosoft chart. It's all written there. That's just said out loud. So we'll go park and brake off. And we'll go ahead and get some stable engines here. We're looking for 70 to 75% N1. Okay, and then we'll go into the toga detent. So 2 clicks will be in the toga detent. Sorry if it's too bright on the screen there for you. I'll try to pause as well, make sure my pause button works. So I'll try to pause on every single thing that I do. So we're going to go V1 rotate, pitch up, get the airplane up, 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 keep going, keep going, keep going, all the way up to the flight director. Okay, gear up. I'm going to pause. All right, so We pitched up, and we actually did pretty good. We're around the 160 area. Remember, we're going to be V2 to plus 1020. So plus 20 is 169. So we're around the we're around the 159 bucket that we had set earlier. So that's pretty good. The next thing we're going to do is we're not going to stay in this takeoff mode. The gear is up, as I mentioned, as well. It's in transition at least. The doors haven't closed, or at least that's what that's indicating. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to select a vertical component to our flight director. So we're going to have climb pop up. I'm going to click the speed button. I have it on an autopilot panel, so you won't see me click it, but I'm going to click this button once. You want to click it once, because if you click it another time, it's going to go IAS, and if you click it again, it'll go pitch. You don't want any of those. So click it once, give it a second, wait till it says climb, and it's going to say climb at the number you're currently at. So if I clicked it right now, it'll probably say climb 160 or 161, something like that. It's gonna as soon as you click it, it changes to what your current speed is. After that, I'm going to click nav mode. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to unpause. I'm going to click my speed button. Okay. I unpaused. I clicked speed. Notice it says climb 162. So that bucket that was 159, that's changed because we're not at 159, so it's going to auto change to what we currently are. Now these flight directors, I'm going to be pitching. I'm going to have to pull up to put my dot right in there, because this flight director in the pitch is giving me 162 knots with the thrust setting. Notice how I'm accelerating at this current pitch. So I need to pitch up to utilize all the thrust I have. I have excess thrust, which means I can nose up more. So I'm going to unpause, and I'm going to pitch up. At the same time, I'm going to click nav, which is this button right here. And nav mode, because we're below 400 feet, you're going to see it's going to say heading. So takeoff will be replaced with heading. And over here, it'll say FMS2 in white. Once we pass 400 feet, I'm going to let it play. You're going to see FMS2 come over here to green. So I'm going to unpause. I'll zoom in so you guys can see. Pitch up a little bit. Nav mode. So heading, FMS2 is armed. Watch 400 feet passing it now. FMS2 captured. And the right turn for 245 passing 1100 feet. Okay, we're above 600 feet. We're going to engage the autopilot. Let me pause there. So above 600 feet, you're allowed to use the autopilot now. Below that, it's all manual. So above 600 feet, you're allowed to use the autopilot. So I'm in this right-hand turn. I'm going to unpause. I'm going to click the autopilot. You're going to see AP in green here. Never trust this button. Never trust these green lights. Always trust what's in the FMA, the flight mode annunciator. So I'm going to click autopilot. It's going to turn on green. And we're also about to pass our level off height. So once I turn the autopilot on, I'm going to scroll this knob from climb 162, because we're at acceleration height. We're going to go to climb, which are VT speed right there. It's hard to see, but the T's right there. 196, we'll just bug 200, and that'll be good. So autopilot it on, and we're going to bug 200. So let's unpause. We'll engage the autopilot. You can see it's turned green. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but it is green. There we go. And I'm going to bug. This is my autopilot panel doing this. We're going to go climb 200. Notice the nose is going to go down. Notice the flight director commanding a nose down. That's because our thrust is set, so there's no other speed power it's going to get, but it has to nose down. It has to decrease the rate of climb. We'll go flap 1. The flaps are in the 1 position. We're at VT minus 15. Flap 0. Okay, we're at VT speed. The flaps are 0. We'll go climb thrust, so we're going to bring it 1 detent back. There's 4,000 for 5,000 alts cap, and we can accelerate to 250 knots. Okay, so we'll pretend we didn't get a vector and we didn't get a higher altitude. So I'm just going to let it accelerate and climb thrust till we get to 250. And we'll discuss the after takeoffs here in a second. We'll fly the airplane first. There's no big giant rush. Okay, I'm going to reduce my thrust because we're in alts cap now. So now the airplane's not going to pitch for speed anymore. It's up to you to do airspeed. It's going to be leveling off at 5,000. Okay, so let's just pretend that ATC came around and said, hey, climb maintain 7,000 and left direct saver. So we'll go 7,000 is confirmed. We'll go climb, press that speed button again. I'm going to wind it down to 250. And I'm going to slowly increase my thrust to climb. And then direct saver, legs, saver, bring it to the purple, second from the top. That looks good. Execute that. We're already in nav mode, so it's going to turn. We're alts capping for 7,000 feet. and we'll grab the after takeoff checklist here. Okay, so I hope you guys, or I hope that helps you guys in the takeoff procedure for the CRJ. It's a bit of work, especially for one person. I'm just going to match this up again so we have a better direct line there. Yeah, a little bit of work for one person to do, but once you do it a bunch of times, it gets pretty easy. So gear up, speed mode, nav mode if it's an RNAV SID, engage autopilot 600 feet. After passing your level off, or your 1,000 feet above the ground level, you're going to accelerate to the VT speed, retract the flaps. You're going to set climb thrust after the flaps, and then any after takeoff items. Talk to ATC. If you can do the after takeoff items while talking to ATC, then that's all better. But you can do it one at a time. So if you have to level off, you have to level off. No worries. Okay, and this airplane's kind of taking its sweet time to get to 7,000. But anyways, I think you guys get the idea. So I hope this helped you guys in the CRJ new update. This has been shot with the beta build, so there might be some bugs here and there that aren't in yours. However, that's pretty much how it's going to work. Now, the only difference with this takeoff and a non-RNAV SID is instead of going speed mode, nav mode, you go speed mode, heading mode, and you want to really make sure that you had the runway heading set on your takeoff, because this airplane will turn wherever you had your heading bug set to. So that's the only difference there if it's not a non-RNAV SID. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helps. Leave a comment down below if it helped. Share it with everybody who's flying the CRJ. I hope you're enjoying the update. There's more to come for the update, I'm sure, as well, and future updates, I'm sure, at least to my knowledge. So we'll be working on this as we go here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Last thing before I go, actually, go make sure to go watch my previous takeoff tutorial, as that was a full takeoff tutorial, whereas this is kind of a bit more of a, not rush job, but it's a bit of a faster paced video. So it's not a full tutorial. It's more about that nav transfer at 400 feet that I wanted to discuss. But I do have a full takeoff procedure video that you can apply this knowledge to as well.